So if any of you have any questions or comments or topics that we'd like to discuss today in our spiritual gathering, let's open up this little meeting with a prayer to our divine teachers, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who descended to this world with his eternal divine associates, such as the great Vaishnavas, the great teachers, who's carrying incredible spiritual knowledge for the fallen souls, such as us. And with their love and compassion, they're always thinking how to uplift every living being, including us who's sitting here today. So my prayer to all of you and to our great preceptors, that this association will not be based on ego principle, it will be based on principle of our true spiritual self, we call false ego, and true ego, which soul. So it will be spiritual discussion with a humility, tolerance, giving respect to others, and even you think will a little bit fascinate our mind, we should take this information not as something contradictory, as rather to try to understand this with our full heart and process that with our mind, because sometimes things we speak in Krishna consciousness are they're contradict with material reality, the science or the social philosophy, etc., because they're a little bit more settled and they have different nature. So any one of you wants to ask any question, I'll be happy to start. Andava Pranam.
Maharaj, can I ask a question?
Of course.
The conversation. What is it? We know that Nityananda Prabhu is our base, is our fundament, yes? But what includes this base? How we can understand that the base is necessary? What inside of this base for some points? You understand what it is?
Yes, very good. So Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda, that is called Panchatattva mantra. So what Acharyas explain, that Lord is revealed himself in different forms. So what are those different forms? First of all, Supreme Lord Sri Krishna taking mood and bhav, the feelings of Radharani, and with love and compassion experiencing that love is been appointed by devotees to himself. He's become a devotee himself, charmed by that love. But with him coming two other expansions. So when we look at the expansion of Supreme Lord, we say Krishna and Balarama. What's the difference? Well, somebody can say Krishna black, Balarama is white. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati say it's alter ego. Alter ego means alternative self. So like every one of us has different self. Like you can say, what is my alternative self? So the alternative self of Krishna, it's very interesting because Krishna is enjoyer. So he called Vishoy Abhiman, the position of enjoyer. And the position of Balaram is his second expansion, is unique. It's a service Abhiman. Think of this idea. The God is supreme enjoyer, but he's also supreme servant. So as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he does? He enjoys the feelings of devotion. He enjoys the Radharani. And he's sharing this great feelings with other living beings. But as Nityananda Prabhu, when he comes to Nityananda Prabhu, he's Seva Abhiman, which means he thinks how to serve that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what is he's doing? He's giving him tremendous help in distribution of the spiritual enjoyment, the spiritual Krishna consciousness. So Balaram is the second expansion of Krishna. In Gaura Lila, when Krishna comes as Chaitanya, taking feelings of Radharani, Bhav and Kanti, as it says in scriptures, he is coming as a devotee with mood. He has two types of mood. One is Audarya, second is Madhurya. Audarya means to give. In Russian word dar, darit. Dar means to give. So he's giving the gift of supreme love. It's not like you don't deserve it. It's gifted to you. It's like, gift people love gifts because you don't have to, do anything, just receive the gifts, right? So he's giving the gifts, but in the form of Nityananda Prabhu, he is that gift distributor, because most people don't even understand the value of those gifts. And in an example, it's a very good example when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Varanasi, which is historically a center of education. It's a center of Vedanta philosophy, the great spiritual place of Shivaism, and where Lord Shiva himself resigned. And that at that time in ancient India, that was like you can say it was like Harvard or Oxford University. It was like almost like the university town, if we look from point of education. And there were so many great mind and great spiritual scholars there, but they were all impersonalists. They were all followers of Advaita Vedanta. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I'm carrying to this place the most valuable gift of Krishna Nam, of bhakti, of devotion. But these people so poor, they cannot buy my product. Why is that so? Because they're intellectual, they're fascinated with the brain. They fascinate with ideas of mystic yoga. They fascinate with the idea that you're part of universal consciousness and you can become that. It's almost like, hey, artificial intellect that everybody's now praising, GPT bot, you become that because GPT bot take all the information. So become GPT bot, become the ocean of knowledge, become ocean of intellect. But it's really, what it really does, it kills your identity. You no longer have an identity. No longer you have an identity. Okay, if you suffer, no problem. You don't need an identity. I just want to give up my identity to end my suffering. That's why people commit suicide. They think by committing suicide, they will be free themselves from suffering. So when we talk about identity, in spiritual reality, your identity is Sat Chit Ananda, eternal, blissful, and conscious, searching fulfillment, searching love. That's what we're doing. We're looking for somebody to share our love with. So in this regard, what we can say, the people of Varanasi, they miss that most important point of Vedanta, the Bhakti Yoga, the love between loved and beloved. If God is everything, why he cannot be a person? If he's everything, like every one of us is a person. So we can say, well, he's just an avatar in Zoom, or he's just a name in his ID, or he's just a phone number. But you don't tell to your wife, oh, you're just a phone number for me. I'm sorry, you just you're just my or your wife tells you, you know what, I love you because you have a credit card. If you wouldn't let me use your bank account, I wouldn't love you. I would find somebody else to love. Then you'll be very frustrated out of this idea that somebody is not taking you as a person. So that is the idea of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So how to give that mercy to those who can't give mercy, like everybody disease, and you need to give the medicine. It's an interesting thing. Even in modern pandemic time, some people try to deliver to everyone the medicine, and not everybody accepting that. But that's another story. But what I'm trying to explain, even in the common world, you will see not everybody will accept what you have. So how can you change that situation? You need somebody who will organize distribution. And that is Nityananda Prabhu in mood of distribution of the holy name. That's why Advaita, who is second expansion of Nityananda Prabhu. Why we say second expansion of Nityananda, not Krishna? Because Nityananda, he appeared as Balarama and Krishna Lila. In Vaikuntha, he manifests himself as Mahasankarsha. And in material world, he manifests himself as Chaturvyuha, Pradyumna Sankarshana, Aniruddha Vasudeva, Kshiradakshaya Vishnu, Garbhadakshaya Vishnu, Karnadakshaya Vishnu. In other words, in Balaram, he's expanding himself in spiritual reality, and he's fully expanding himself in material reality. Therefore, name Balaram means Bala, all the energy, everything has been world created. Even the soul, tiny souls like us, came from Balaram's energy. So think of this. All spiritual reality came out of him. because he's a second part of Krishna that's manifesting all these things. He's also manifesting our material reality. But most interesting for us is that in these pastimes of Chaitanya Nityananda, he's assisting as a preacher, as a guru and devotee. So think of this, someone who expands everything. So what is his Chaturvyuha expansion? That is called Advaita Acharya. So basically, Advaita Acharya is looking like older than Nityananda Prabhu, but he's actually his expansion. In fact, he's not just his expansion, he's also expansion of Sadashiva, which is, if you look at this point, the Maya is a mother. So what mother does, she does two things. She provides the space and nourishment to the child, baby. The father only conceived the child. The mother take the rest of the work. So mother nature is called Maya. Why she's called Maya? Because the child is an illusion, wants to play, and mother would love giving him opportunity to play. So in this regard, you can say that Maya is named Devi, Parvati. There's so many names of material nature. Devi, Parvati, Vishnu, Maya, so many names. But she has a husband, is Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva, with his Shukradata, his semen, impregnate the Maya. So Vishnu is the cause of material world, but Vishnu does material creation. He's transcendental. So when you don't look at somebody else's wife, that says in scripture. So when Vishnu look at the Maya, at material cause of energy, at that moment, at that very moment, he become Shiva, Sadashiva. When Vishnu looking at spiritual reality, he's Lakshmi Narayan. So you can understand. Left side, spiritual reality, Lakshmi Narayan, right side, Shiva Parvati. So the Mahavishnu in between. But his cause of material energy. So he's sending his energy to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva as being universal father, that's why we worship him in the form of lingam, which is mean male part. And the Parvati is a yoni, which means female part, accepting part. So that becomes these two principles, male and female principle, by which everything is being created. So there are some, particular living beings like worms, they have both in their body, male and female. But it does not mean that this male and female principle doesn't work in their body. Just like half of your body, Ida, female, left side, right side of your body is Pingala, means Surya, male part, and Sushumna, the central part. So yogis, they know you can, even by taking certain hormones, you can become woman or man. So that's what they do right now, hormone therapy. That means they will just endorse your female or male part. But this is within you, because this is within God. So the reason I'm explaining all these things, because we need to understand in principle, who is Nityananda Prabhu? Because if you think Balaram, who's expanding to Vaikuntha and creating the whole planets of Vaikuntha and innumerable little living beings, he's also as a Mahasankarshan, as Chaturvyuha, expand to Chaturvyuha, to 4 different types of Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Karanodakshaya Vishnu, etc. And also, interesting way, why we say Chaturvyuha, but we know only 3 Vishnu, Karna, Garbha, and Karma. Why is that? Like Mahavishnu, from him all the universes emanates. Then he entered to every universe as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Karanodakshaya Vishnu is a cause. He exists in every heart, in every atom. So atomic presence, universal present, and general presence. But why is that Chaturvyuha? There's one more. And that one more is hidden. It's called Vasudeva. Pradyumna, Sankarsana, Aniruddha. Each Vishnu has its own function in creation. And Vasudeva, what is that Vasudeva? Consciousness, spiritual consciousness. So as Guru Maharaj would explain, nothing can exist without divine consciousness. Therefore, although Vishnu expands in three parts to create reality, he still exists in his spiritual part as Vasudeva. Therefore, before we read the book or do the meditation, we invoke the divine name Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let's do it all together at this point. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It appeared to be very simple, but this algorithm, so we can call mantra, but now we understand about programming algorithms. There are material algorithms called Naimitika mantras. They're spiritual algorithms. So this spiritual algorithm, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, what it does, this mantra opens us an opportunity to understand reality from spiritual point of view, from deep spiritual point of view. So now, coming back to a situation with Nityananda Prabhu. So that Lord, that Supreme Lord, who is the cause of spiritual and material creation, expanding himself to two forms, Chaitanya and Nityananda. Chaitanya means consciousness life, and Nityananda, he's coming to the world to save living beings. So one of his purpose is his own purpose, to enjoy the mood of Radharani. This is his private purpose. But he's not just, just like when we do something, hey, I like to go to conference to this place, and I also will enjoy that place. But I have to go to conference, I have some work. But while I do my work, I will also do my own personal experience and enjoyment. So that is the mood of Mahaprabhu. I have my own purpose, but having my own purpose, I will give that divine love to everyone, including great souls. So it's not just saving fallen souls, it's also bringing, his different inhabitants of spiritual reality with him together. It's just like when you say, hey, I like to go to desert. I want to bring all my friends and I want to have party in desert. And in desert, guess what kind of, refreshments I will serve. In desert, in my birthday party, in my special party, I will serve water. And everybody will appreciate this water, because water in desert is so much appreciative because it's a source of life. So I will do in desert, I will show what life is all about. So, and everybody say, wow, that was amazing. I went to that party to desert and I got a cup of water. It's incredible. I never taste water because, in my home, there's water running everywhere. But in a place where there's no water, then some appreciation is growing. So that's all about for the liberated souls to appreciate deeper Krishna consciousness. Now, what about fallen souls like us who are completely lost, according to Kali Yuga, weak, sick mind, lusty, angry, and even I can see sometimes in our mission, people don't even understand the value of spiritual. They try to make a political group and, because that's human's nature. So give them something amazing, give them Jesus Christ, they will crucify him. Why? Just because, because they have different interests. Somebody think, well, Jesus is a problem for our kingdom. Somebody say, well, Jesus is a problem for our society. Somebody say, well, we better get rid of Jesus because, so there were many modern writers or stage directors that would say, even if Jesus will come today, they will crucify him again. Why is that so? Because that is the nature of fallen souls. They're looking for problems in somebody else, not with themselves. They're not trying to examine their own heart. They're looking for, it's the Putin who's a problem. It's the Hitler who's the problem. It's my wife who's the problem. It's the country I live is a problem. And that is the innumerous ways that people try to justify their trouble, but they don't understand. I'm sharing karma of Putin because I live in that environment. I'm sharing karma of the country, of the nation, of the tribe, and that's why many people say, how come such a great civilization as Germany become a Nazi? just by people accepting ego, by being the ego control. So therefore, in material world, Shiva control ego, and Shiva sometimes against Krishna. Why is that so? Because it's false ego. Even Shiva himself sometimes fight with Krishna. It's amazing how ego is powerful, that it makes you so crazy that you even start fighting with devotees, you fight with somebody you love. It's just like almost try to hit your doctor. Therefore, when Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu came, Jagai and Madhai were the suitable candidate, because Nityananda had some plan. He thought, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will save great devotees, what's the point? They're already great devotees. They're already qualified. We need to start saving the most crazy, ego-driven opposition. People that trying to do everything against spirituality. Those kind of people we need to save. Normally, Krishna saved them by killing them. But in Kali Yuga, everybody has demonic quality in his own heart. And the way it says in scriptures, very, very simple. In Satya Yuga, the demonic qualities were separated. Like there were demon planets where demons would live, and there would be like a human planet where there's no evil. Then in the next Yuga, when Ramachandra came, the demons, they came from low planets to the world. And so what demons start doing, they start influencing the people. But the sages were against them. In Dwapara Yuga, you can see the demons are enter into human society and they pollute human society. Therefore, you can see like Duryodhana, Shakuni, all the characters from Mahabharata, they were demons. But as previous acharyas was explained, they were demons in previous lives, but they entered to the human bodies and they entered to the harmic dynasties, the dynasties of kings. Therefore, Pandavas and Kurus, although they were one family, they always fight and conflict because the demons were part of their family. So it says, but this was Dwapara Yuga. In Kali Yuga, what happened is the demons, they're entering everybody's heart. Everybody like Ida Pingala, left side, right side, female side, male side. Now, half of your body is demon. Half of your body is saint. So now, what do? It's like the Indians, native Indians say, there are dogs that fighting in your heart. And what those dogs are? Lust, greed, anger, because you're lusty, you want something. I want this woman. I want that money. I want that car. I cannot get that woman. I cannot get that money. I cannot get that car. The next things come anger, frustration. So you're immediately frustrated because you did not fulfill your lusty desire. And that not just a sexual desire, it's just a desire to earn, to control, to be recognized, which is coming to false identity. Therefore, Vaishnava must be humble, like a blade of grass. That's why Govinda Maharaj's most teaching were Tridadapi Sunichena Taruravasa Hishnuna Amarina Madana Kirtanya Sadahari. You must become humble and offer to Vaishnavas. You cannot curse your own doctors. You cannot, you cannot criticize your own doctors. You cannot criticize devotees. Because by doing that, you invoke in your false ego. And that's what the Maya trick. The Maya trick is to invoke your ego, how you become Nazi, how you become fascist. By accepting praise. Oh, you are such a great nation. Yes, we are. Oh, okay, wonderful. So, now another nation is not so great. Go kill Ukrainian because you're so good. You're wonderful. You're amazing. And by accepting that false ego, you become evil. You invoke your evil self. And that's where the problems are with people, because Vaishnavas, they understand ego is the biggest enemy. There's no other enemy. There's no problem with this Maharaj or that Maharaj or this devotee or that. The problem within you and with the way you're reflecting reality, that is the problem. So Jagai and Madhai, they were this kind of people. They were very much affected with their false ego, and their ego forced them to do everything against religion because they were from Brahmin family. They were good educated family, just most demons like. Most demons are coming from good education, good families, but their evil spirit of resistance, everything against God, forced them to terrorize everybody. And they were enjoying that they invoke in people's fear because nobody wants to deal with them. See, just like with modern politics, people want to stay away. They don't want to get involved. So Jagai and Madhai, they did this, and Nityananda Prabhu thought, if we can, liberate this kind of guys, then yes, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be known as Patit Pavan. Because just liberating some kind of a pious people or some kind of a lost people, they will not give the reputation of Mahaprabhu. We need to start from the most sinful people. And that's how Jagai and Madhai were liberated through the very smart plan of Nityananda Prabhu. And what was his actually plan? He allowed himself to be hurt by them. And later, he expressed the greatest love and compassion. So think of this, the Balaram, who's expanded Mula Sankarshan, who is expansion of Chaturvyuha, allow himself, some conditioned low soul, to beat him with a clay pot and bleeding in front of everybody, and humility, asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please don't kill those two. And actually, these two wretched demons are seeing that somebody they just beat and completely humiliate. He's begging Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please save them, please save them. And as they saw the chakra, they realized this is Vishnu, this is it. This is the God we were opposing to. So imagine what they felt, how they felt, to understand that this great personality, Nityananda Prabhu, he is saving us. He's our savior. And Mahaprabhu said, well, if anybody will disturb me, I don't care. So many people disturb me. Brigu disturbed me. He punched me in the chest by his feet. Therefore, I'm keeping his feet. Like so many, even devotees like Brigu and other sages, they disturb me. Many spiritual people say God does not exist. Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita, many people kill me with the arrows of their, philosophical misconceptions. But I always forgive them because they're my, devotees. But I always punish the demons. These are the demons. But in this case, Nityananda Prabhu say, everyone is a demon, my Lord. Everybody has demonic quality. Please save all those souls. I will take care of them. I will accept them. And then he forced Mahaprabhu to accept them. So that's the power of devotion. That's the power of devotee. That's the power of love. Just like mother, a child pissing on the mother, mother love him. Is child pooping on the mother, mother love him. Is child acting whimsically on the mother, mother love him. Even if child going away for so many years and not even call mother, mother still love him. So maybe at the time of death, when the child come back to mother just happy to see him, she happy to love him. This is the mother's love. So think of this, what is the divine love of Supreme Lord for us inconceivable living beings, living souls, and what is the foundation? Of course, Nityananda Prabhu has many foundations. He's coming with his wives, he's coming with his sons, he's coming with his devotees. He's himself devotee of Mahaprabhu. His friend is Haridas Thakur and Advaita Acharya. And sometimes Advaita Acharya criticizing Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu in front of Mahaprabhu. And he's telling, what is this idea of going and liberating all these drunkards and prostitutes and all these crazy people? Only crazy people can do this. Why is that? Why we're not going to liberate, to save those who are, perfectly follow spiritual life? What is this Nityananda's plan? Why is he trying to fulfill, his plan by bringing to Vaishnavism all kinds of lost, demonic evil people? what is that idea? He's a madman. And sometimes they're laughing with Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur sometimes would complain to Advaita and Mahaprabhu about Nityananda. He say, he's jumping to crocodiles. He's jumping to crocodiles. He's doing some crazy stuff. He's doing some whimsical things. He's making crazy jokes. And, and the end of the story, I have to pay for all his deeds, because when he does something bad, he runs away. And when I'm an old man, people complain to me. They even want to beat me. So, but Advaita said very beautifully. He said, "You're a madman. He's the madman. Two madmen, like the birds of feather fly together. The crazy people attract the crazy people," which really means he say you are divine, intoxicated with love of God. So what is that world for you? You're Lord Brahma, and he's like Balarama. You were so happy to be in his presence. So what is the point of him doing his pastimes? His pastimes just full of fun and divinity, and no ordinary people can understand it. So therefore, Nityananda Prabhu is very mysterious. Nobody knows who is he. Sometimes people think he's a sannyasi. Sometimes people think he's a householder. Sometimes he's carried 2 statues of goddesses in his bag and showing that everybody, telling, "These are my wives." And people say, what are you crazy Avadhuta talking about? You don't have any wives. But sometimes he's showing that goddesses and saying, "Yeah, they are my wives. Actually, they are." And people don't understand his divine position, and they don't, even able to comprehend his position. But they look at his divine Leela, and they have so much joy by hearing about Nityananda Prabhu. Therefore, it is says by Srila Prabhupada in one of his purport that anybody who trying to chant Hare Krishna mantra should know one thing: you need to become qualified. And you should chant mantra without offenses. And if one chant names of Gaur Nityananda, like we can chant right now, Gaur Haribol, Gaur Haribol, Gaur Nityananda, Gaur Nityananda, Gaur Nityananda. That holy name of Gaur Nityananda is offense-free. That's why Sridhar Maharaj chanting it many times, especially when he speak very high things to very unqualified people like us. Not just to purify himself, also to purify us, because name of Nityananda and Chaitanya, offense-free, not like Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna mantra, you have to become free from lust, free from greed, free from illusion. Then it will work. How you do that? By serving Vaishnavas, by serving devotees, by hearing the glories of Gaur Nityananda, by chanting holy name because Guru told you to chant. So you follow that, with your faith and belief, and then you'll succeed through association. Anyway, thank you for the question. It was a good question. I'm sorry it took me a little bit long, but I had to, that's infinite reality. We could speak forever about this. Every day we can speak about glories of Nityananda Prabhu, and never ending, because himself as Ananta Shesh with 1,000 heads chanting glories of Supreme Lord, and he say, I cannot finish that glory. Any other questions?
Thank you for extended answer, Maharaj. Thank you.
Yes.
Dear friends who want to ask questions, your phone, please, or you can write question in chat.
As we say about chess game, when the chess players, the great chess player play, they say, because they pretty much come in football, oh, he's running with the ball, he's giving the ball to another one, he's giving the goal to a third one. So when people play chess, the comment is like this: the Karpov, the great master, made the move, and Kasparov, another great master, start thinking 45 minutes. So you can just imagine 2 guys are playing chess, and they have to think like 45 minutes and calculate how many moves possibly, all the possibilities. So that's something that we should take in consideration when we hear things about Krishna, they penetrate our heart through our internal ear, they penetrate our heart. But the process of realizing them will take some time.
And Narayani want to ask question.
Переведите, пожалуйста, мой вопрос. Все люди хотят быть счастливыми, и духовная практика, мы часто говорим, воспевайте святые имена и будьте счастливыми. Но также я слышала, что Господь посылает трудности преданным, и нужно их принимать. Трудности дают нам несчастье. Вот как это глубже понять правильно? Суреш Кришна, пожалуйста, на английский.
Question is that everyone wants happiness, joy, and our spiritual masters says to us, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. But the Lord sends us some difficulties to improve ourselves. So question is how to understand it deeper.
Yeah, it's a good, very good question. Thank you, Suresh Prabhu. I'm very happy that Narayani asking this question, because see, if we just talk about some joy and ecstasy, we don't deal with reality. Reality, we live in a miserable world due to our own false ego. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, it is my fault that I'm living this world. It's no one's fault, not my father, not my mother, not the president, not the neighbor. It is my fault. And why is that my fault? Because with my ego, which has been given to me as identity, I decide that I will become the enjoyer. I will enjoy. And Supreme Lord mercifully give me that world of enjoyment. And just like you're giving to baby sometimes something which will partially harm baby, but you want him to test something. Like sometimes I remember, you know, baby can say to his father, I like to smoke or like to drink. And he'll give like a spoon of liquor or cigarette to try, and baby, oh, so bad, so bad. Because what is that is poisonous. And baby, with his pure senses, immediately realize that this has no benefit. It's not a sugar. But that might create for baby some scar. He doesn't want to drink or smoke in the future. I don't like it. It doesn't, because already in sub-memory, some negative experience. So you can say in a tantric way, if you want to sometimes stop smoking, take 5 packs of cigarettes and smoke one after another one, and you start vomiting and you start hating this even smell of cigarettes. You can't stand it. So sometimes overtaking, overdose of material life lead us to suffering, and suffering lead us to realization. And so there's a very famous song of Pingala, the prostitute, from Srimad Bhagavatam. This prostitute was a good lady, but she lived by, you know, serving the low desires of humans and would expecting to fulfill their lust. They fulfill her lust for material things. And you know, her lust for material things, to look wonderful, to have beautiful clothes, to live in a good apartment, whatever. So she lived in that area where people would come and shop for the prostitutes. Believe it or not, you know, it's one of the oldest professions in the world to fulfill the senses. So, so she's sitting in a bench in front of her room, and you know, people shopping around. Maybe you heard of Amsterdam, places like this. You can go to whole area and go see, there'll be windows and almost naked women calling you like, come, come. And of course, you know, for money you can enjoy for some time, but it would not be real love or relationship. That would be just fulfillment of your lust. So, but the story has been quietly amazing, because everybody likes to hear stories, seductive stories in this world. That's human's nature. But the story, the way it's been built in the Bhagavad, that she was not able to fulfill anybody's lust because no clients would accept her at that day. It was a bad day. So she was thinking, oh, maybe this man look like very nice shoes, very nice dress. He'll probably give me tons of money. Oh, this young boy is so beautiful. He could probably, give me as a gift, one of his golden chain. So he would look at everybody pass through this area and would imagine in her mind that this person will make her rich tonight. And obviously she didn't have money. So some kind of a, disturbance were in her mind. But as she got disturbed and losing hope after hope, she started gradually realizing the nature of this world. So her songs, her poetry are very good example of false expectations. And what really are, disturbing people is false expectations. Because no one promised you become a movie star, you become a king, you will successfully marry, or you become a great professional. You have to go towards this fulfillment. But what really disturbs is the false expectations. Now you can say, well, that's very bad, but in material virtual reality like world, it's very good, because that will lead you to our spiritual life. Now you can say, oh, when I heard about Hare Krishna, I thought I'll just chant Hare Krishna once and I become such a great liberated soul, and I will, yesterday I was just like no one in this world. Tomorrow I become a great saint. I already bought the dress in the Indian store. I put up tilak. I even took the Harinam beads from the Guru. These are also false expectations, because as a prostitute had expectations from material fulfillment, we can also have same false expectations from spiritual fulfillment if we don't plug in the mood of love and service. So what is that world live on? Even the prostitute salary based on how well she served the low desires of a client. What to speak about the principle of serving Supreme Lord and devotees. Now, her clear cause of expectation was something material, obviously. Otherwise, why she has to engage in such, unpleasant work? Allow her body to be exploited just for the purpose of, money. That's not a very, it's not a very pleasant thing for prostitutes. She like engage in sex every day. That doesn't drive her. What really drives her is like, hey, money. That's what drives her. I hate my job, but I need the money. Like most people do like that. I think very few prostitutes do this out of love, and they call it, geisha or kutsisa. Most people are like prostitutes. The reason I'm telling you this story, because it's a very clear story that demonstrates the principle of material life. Some people say, I hate this job, but I need the money. I hate to do what I do in my life, but I need the money. So you cannot be like this in Krishna consciousness. You cannot say, I hate devotee, but I need Krishna. I hate, temple. I hate, all the devotees. I hate my guru, but, I guess I have to do, something to get out of this world. It's not going to work. So hate and criticism of devotees will not work. And a lot of devotees, they're happy to talk about problems of other devotees. Oh, that other devotee fall down. Oh, very good. I knew he's not a sincere guy. That's what people are looking for. They're finding pleasure into blaspheming devotees. Therefore, Krishna never gives them true devotion. Krishna is very, very smart. He very much protects his own spiritual family. So Why? Because you need to have a service, mood of service coming from servitor, from devotee. Sometimes when you say, look at this wonderful devotee, he's giving his whole life service, no expectation. It was Dayaram Prabhu in Navadvip. He always called himself Gurudev Coward Man. He was taking care of cows. Then suddenly, after Gurudev passed away, we saw him in Govardhan. He did not want to be involved in the fight of devotees who will control the mud. What he did instead, he humbly left the Navadvip and he entered Vrindavan, Govardhan, and served Guru Maharaj Samadhi, served the mud, and happily passed away. He passed away a few years back, left his body with super humble, like very nice, very beautiful man. Very poor Bengali, you can say poor, but very rich by heart. Never expect anything. So his name is Nirupadi Vaishnav, not expecting any treatment. See, because our ego is such, oh, if you not recognize me, I hate you. That's what our ego is. Oh, lust and greed. And that's where our problem, because all these things live in our heart: lust, greed, anger, craziness. But the true Vaishnava, he's free from that. How do you free yourself from that? By two things. Number one, the acceptance of Vaishnava, not expecting any treatment, any recognition for yourself, and service of Supreme Lord under guidance of Guru Vaishnava without any expectation. That is not easy to do, but that is what really leads somebody to extremely powerful spiritual process. And then the ego will be diminished and true taste of holy name will come. So I was very fortunate this year. Krishna punished me so nicely in India. I had all my money, all my documents stolen, not even from me, from a friend of mine. I went to temple and gave him my bag of documents, and all the documents were stolen from me. And this happened because Krishna punished me for something I've done. And what I've done is I did not show respect to certain devotees. They would not want to allow us to temple. They also weren't right, exactly. But I broke the spiritual principle. Instead of saying, okay, you're not letting us to temple, we're white people. Okay, we understand. We're not so qualified. I was trying to show him my ego, that I'm such an important person. And so Krishna immediately punished me. So Krishna, when he punished his devotees must be super happy. Because if Krishna punishes you, it means he loves you. If Krishna does not punish you, that means Krishna said, okay, karma will punish you in some time. So it says Krishna punished himself, his devotee, out of love to his devotee. But if Krishna doesn't want to punish you directly, out of his mercy, just like he's killing demons and liberating them, then you just go to karma, you just go to hell, and you're in trouble. So devotee must be even so happy when punishment coming as a reaction for what he's done. Because that in your mind can be very easy combined. Otherwise, next life you say, why am I suffering? I haven't done anything bad in this life. Well, yes, in this life, maybe not, but in previous life, you must be done so many bad things. Any other questions? Let's see if our English-speaking people have enough courage to pull up hand and ask their questions.
There was a question in a chat box. My question is what is the coolest in the Mahabharata? What is the coolest part of Mahabharata? It's Saumya Shyam asked.
Okay. The Mahabharata is an incredible story that has everything: sex, drugs, and rock and roll. If you want to be looking from perspective of storytelling, because you need eroticism, you need fight, you need protagonist, antagonist, and you need poetry, music, everything is there in Mahabharata, but everything leading us to the deepest conclusion. So what is the conclusion of Mahabharata? If you have demonic, evil minds and you're inquiring everything for yourself, you're going to lose. Just like the demons lost in Mahabharata. Sometimes we say, well, there's conspiracy going on in the world. They're trying to enslave everybody to artificial intellect, digital currency, vaccines. Yeah, that's truth, actually. But this is all what we see right now. The wars, the pandemics is being created as reaction for the people, how you say words in English, indifferentiation. Как безразличие?
Indifference.
Indifference, yes. So people indifference. People only care for themselves. They have so much ego. They want to enjoy. They don't care about reality. So therefore, demons, they do care. They do a lot of things, and they get together, they organize, they practice. So I was speaking with one devotee recently, and I said, and that devotee sometimes out of emotions like to complain. And I said, do you think like vampires or demons complaining about, oh, I just have a bad blood, or I didn't eat enough people today? Like, why is it demons, they get things organized, they work every day as a collective, there's a bunch of demons getting together every day, planning their things. And why we as devotees always thinking, oh, Krishna will do everything for us. Oh, it's up to Krishna. Yeah, let the Krishna do this. So is Krishna become our servant, or are we servants of Krishna? So the coolest part of Mahabharata that you realize that the devotees who dedicate, love, and serve Krishna, they go through a lot of difficulties, but that difficulties bring them internal pleasure and they make them more feeling to serve. And finally, Mahabharata all about overcoming difficulties of this world through the serving, or if you will suffer in this world anyway, but suffering for service, suffering for Krishna is a great joy. Therefore, some deep devotees, big devotees of Mahabharata, like Kunti Devi, they say, Vipadak stavatat shashvat tatra tatra jagat guru darshano bhavatam yashyat apunak bhavadarshana. Oh Krishna, let me suffer. Because when I'm not suffering, when I'm enjoying, I'm not remembering. I remember you in suffering. When difficult things coming to me, I immediately surrender in my mind. Therefore, in Srimad Bhagavatam, and the main principle, one of the principles called Ashraya, the surrender. You get the story of Gajendra Moksha, the elephant. You get the story of Prahlad. You get the story of Dhruva. You get the stories of all the great sages. What made them sage is to go against the current for the spiritual goals and finally surrender to Krishna out of most difficult situation in their life. Prahlad Maharaj, or almost got killed by his father. Dhruva Maharaj had to leave his own mother palace in the search of perfection, found Krishna. Name it. So many great devotees had to suffer so much compared to us. But, they finally surrendered to Lord, and Lord graciously delivered them. So if suffering will make you surrender, it's a very good suffering. Okay, any other questions?
Maharaj, we have a question from chat.
Okay.
And the question is next. How can one recognize either one is punished by the Lord or by karmic reactions?
Once again, if one, sorry, I didn't get it.
If one is punished by the Lord or by karmic reactions.
So, but what is the question? Okay, you can be punished by Lord. It's a great gift from the Lord. just like my mother punishing sometimes the child out of love, no problem. But if, you know, Lord decides, okay, you're gonna get that karmic reaction, that means that's the second level of punishment. It still comes from the Lord, but it's not coming from him directly. If anything coming directly to Lord is a blessing, like Lord killed the demons directly, that was blessing. Lord didn't say, okay, you know, you're a demon, you go for 1,000,000 years in hell, and then you'll be punished. The demons were killed by Krishna, they achieved liberation. And finally, you know that in previous lives, those demons were some kind of exalted souls. Maybe they were like Rasanandas and Avadhut Maharajas, you know, and suddenly I said, okay, for your evil deed, next life, you become evil, but, and you get cursed from somebody, and then you're born in demon's body. But then the sages, when they curse you, they say, okay, because you had some connection with Krishna consciousness, you know, maybe you will, you know, disturb devotees a little bit, but then you'll be liberated by devotees. It's just like a game, computer game. They let you play that role and that particular form for your own good. But if that's what you're, remember, in the time of death, where do you go? You go where your consciousness belongs to. So most people, they're thinking of sex 24 hours. I know some people who do that. So normally, thinking of sex 24 hours, they're going to that realm that they have to born again as humans. But the gopis, they're not thinking of sex. They would love and lust thinking of Krishna. So if their lust and love of Krishna appear to be like sexual desire, but actually, because of that sexual desire devoid of exploitation, has no lust. I mean, other form of lust for Krishna, they're entering to Krishna consciousness. And they are always remaining Krishna consciousness. Therefore, you know, it says the Madhurya Rasa is something that gopi are 24 hours thinking, and it's understandable because human instinct, such as sex or hunger, you know, if you're hungry, you can feel hungry all day long. You can wake up of hunger. You can wake up of lust. But is that spiritual hunger? No. I wish I had spiritual hunger. That means I wake up in the middle of night, and instead of eating sandwich, I'm eating prasadam sandwich. It's a joke. But instead of, if I have spiritual hunger, that means I wake up in the middle of night and start chanting names of Krishna, chanting holy name, remember Krishna. That's like, you know, that's what gopis do. They 24 hours think of Krishna. And with lust, so think of this, with lust, they're thinking of Krishna with lust. And they say, we're not yogis, because yogis trying to concentrate on Krishna. It's very difficult to concentrate your mind in mystic yoga. Meditate for minutes, shut down your senses. But the gopis, what they say is like, hey, we are not yogis. We cannot forget Krishna. We love Krishna so much. It's always in our mind. In fact, we're always thinking, I'm dancing with Krishna. Krishna will embrace me. Krishna will kiss me. Like Krishna's lips so beautiful, his eyes so beautiful. That is the gopi bhakti yoga, gopi bhav. So we're not having that hunger or lust. Therefore, we are drowning in material hunger, material lust, and then suddenly we decide to lose weight or control the senses, or, you know, and then we're trying to, how do we control senses? How would we lose weight? Okay, we have to reduce our eating. That is not working successfully. Then we have to meditate through our mind. But the Vedas would say, hey, you have to offer food to Krishna. You're not the enjoyer, Krishna's enjoyer. You have to, you know, chant the holy name of Krishna. Engage your tongue, because the tongue is very difficult to control. That's why we say in the mantra, Jatinjayatahikal, Very difficult to control your mind, genital, and tongue. They're all on the same level. So you have to take prasadam of Krishna. And the most powerful is to speak or hear about Krishna and chant his holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But without hearing Krishna Katha, speaking about Krishna, is very difficult to remember Krishna. That's why name is very important. Man mana bhava mad bhakta.
Maharaj, in this question, Tungarata asking, continue. My question was how to know person punishes you.
How what?
How to recognize that the Lord personally punish you.
Well, you have to be a little bit Krishna conscious. I mean, like, if you have no connection with Krishna and Guru, like, how can you recognize Guru punish you? So Govinda Maharaj used to say, if my genuine disciple, I cannot punish him because he's just a new disciple. And if you punish a new disciple who has no firm faith in Guru and Vaishnavas, he will be offended. Just like one girl told me, oh, Avadhut Maharaj, why you always tell me some bad things? I say, because I have bad mouth, but you're doing your sport, you're boxing. So when the guy who trains you hit you and you lose the hit, does that mean he hates you or he doesn't love you? No, he loves you, but he trains you. So sometimes when I kick your ass or when I, give you a kick for some reason, maybe I have bad ego, but, considering I'm your guru, you should think, okay, well, the guru said me something I should consider to change myself. So the ego is the biggest problem that we have, all of us. Ego is the biggest problem. So if we will re-understand ourselves as the servants of Krishna through association devotees, instead of thinking, I'm a good guy, like for instance, in our mission, some people, they don't like me. And you know why? I don't like myself. Every time I look in my face, I think I'm the most ugly being on the world. How people can accept me? I don't like myself. Like, you don't think like I'm sitting, like I'm not like girl sitting in mirror and, like putting makeup and think Avadhut Maharaj, I'm so beautiful. No, I don't like myself. I think I'm old, fat, and ugly. Instead of this, every my lecture, I'm thinking, my lecture is so boring. And everything good I'm telling in my lectures, I've heard from someone else, not from myself. Maybe for myself, sometimes little, but I don't have anything spiritual to give. I'm just, taking something from Gurudev and other Vaishnavas and mixing together. I'm like a bad DJ who doesn't have his own music. I just play somebody else's music with a very important phase. So many bad things I can say about myself, but that's not, a reason for self-hating, because I say, yes, that's what I am right now. But you know what? But Gurudev believe in me. Although I'm not perfect, Gurudev gave me a chance of serve. He even gave me position, name of Avadhut Maharaj. Maybe I'm not even, reaching that level. Definitely not, but I should try. Otherwise, did Gurudev love me? Yes, he gave me everything out of love. Does Gurudev hope I will grow? Yes, Gurudev hope I will grow. So that is our mood. That's how we have to think ourselves. We don't have to be, amazed by our own self. Sometimes I can tell you, sometimes when I speak things and I feel something divine coming to me, I think, oh my God, that was very interesting. That didn't came from me. That came from Krishna. That's how you know something came from Krishna. Then when you know something great came from Krishna, you can also understand something bad came from Krishna directly. Because if Krishna is your master, you should accept everything that comes from him, good or bad. That is called faith and devotion. Otherwise, if I don't get recognition, if I don't get this, if I don't get that, I'm no longer devotee of Krishna. I'll become devotee of Shiva or Kali. Because Kali gives everything, the mother gives everything to child. And Krishna is very picky, very difficult to fulfill Krishna. So therefore, I'm now become Kali Bhakta or Shiva Bhakta. because Shiva easy give everything material. So let me do that. And I live in a material world. Who's going to blame me for asking material things, especially when I'm like a moron and I can't do anything by myself? So let me surrender to Shiva, and just Shiva will give me everything. That is also logic. It's called Hinduism. Hinduism is where you're shopping what's good for you. But Vaishnavism means you accept supremacy of Krishna, and you accept your divine slavery, and you accept that you're a slave, but slave of love. So when I met Queen of Kerala, who I've spent a few hours, and the meeting were made by a friend of mine to meet the Queen for like 15 minutes, and then for 2 hours she preached to me, and she told me, servants, they can come and go, but we're kings of Kerala. We're the slaves of Lord Vishnu. We're the slaves. And then she spoke about Krishna Katha and gopis. She spoke like actually highest Krishna Katha I've heard from, outside of our mat in style of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. She spoke that level of Krishna Katha. She's a great, incredible woman, very deep, very profound, and suffered so much in her life. Lost the kingdom, lost all the money, due to communist government. She still has a palace, but all the power had been taken from her. Her brother died, her son died, and like so much trouble she had. But she's accepting all of it with happy, gracious heart and understanding I'm the slave of Lord. Divine slavery, as Guru Maharaj said, divine slavery. So if we're just servants, we can come and go. If we don't get paid, okay, we'll find another master. But that's not Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is about divine slavery. It's very difficult to understand for modern people who are fighting for rights, but the reality is we have no rights in this world. No rights. All rights belongs to Krishna. Copyright belongs to Krishna. All rights belongs to him. And we his property. And everybody else his property. Therefore, we have no rights even to incline anyone at anything. So if we can just get the idea of there's no rights, then we can become the most happy and liberated people, because all rights reserved to Krishna, not to some stupid politicians, not to some demonic beings that are trying to screw the world with their ideas. No, the true rights reserved to Krishna. And entering that world where there's no rights and everybody just slaves of love, charm, beauty, and attraction, that world is called Vaikuntha. And in center of this world is Goloka, where that even has an extreme position. And that's world we're trying to fight for. And who we're fighting with? When you have no rights, who you fight with? With yourself. But even with yourself, it's almost impossible to fight. You have to give up and surrender. Because if I could make myself a better person, I would, believe me. I tried so many times. I was like, before I was devotee, I was smoking in army like 2 packs a day. And how did I give up smoking? Just become devotee. I give up smoking and eating meat in 1 day. It was so funny and so easy. And I couldn't give up smoking until I become a devotee, because it's very seductive. And, I smoked from maybe 14 years old, then and 16, I smoke and when I become devotee, I just give it up. Never could be, that never, really bugs me anymore. I was impressed. I was impressed that surrender to Krishna can transform you in such a way that you don't even want it. So think of this Krishna's power, how powerful Krishna is, how beautiful Krishna is, how amazing Krishna is. So anyway, I've seen some of our viewers in Thailand supposed to go sleep because they're watching out of their rooms, out of their beds. And some other devotees in other parts of the world, I don't know what time and day here, but I'm so happy to see every one of you. Thank you for letting me express something of my poor heart by your sincerity, your true questions, and the grace of our gurus, something spiritual coming out of my heart that I cannot even myself appreciate fully. Don't think I'm somebody who knows everything I've said. I'm just like a parrot, simply repeating what I've heard from lotus mouth of my gurus, with little of my own interpretation. But I'm so happy to see Narayani Didi and Rasananda Didi and other translators, Suresh Krishna Prabhu, Raja Sundari Didi, and Nalina Sundari Didi, who's trying to share this with other people, with their great heart, with their great compassion. They're always the true friends because they're always involved in preaching. See, they don't involve in politics. They just try to preach. And of course, you have affinity to one Maharaj or another Maharaj, like, Ajita Prabhu is fully concentrated on Goswami Maharaj, somebody concentrated on Madhusudan Maharaj. That's all good because everybody has its own heart connection. It's not harm to say, okay, he's my guru. I'm trying to represent him in the most possible way. And that's wonderful when we have so many great devotees in our community and we're sharing with them. And not only just sannyasis, also we have wonderful ladies and wonderful prabhus. And please, Narayani Didi, bring more people like Devashish and some Janardhan Maharaj and Ashram Maharaj. Let's see, the problem is everybody kind of live in their own little world, with dealing with their own little problem. And that's the part of material reality because you have to deal with problems every day, like I do too. But when we meet together and we share our heart and we see all the beautiful faces, then we understand, okay, we want to have one unified mission. Because it's not about, the little temple or little center, you in charge and you're the big guy, you're big guru, and you're in charge of 5 guys or 500 guys. It's not what it is. So for us to share heart and to share, blessings of devotees and to have that flow of the Krishna consciousness, very important. So thank you, everyone. And I'm happy again to speak in English, and please engage me. Narayani, give me more work. Engage me as much as you can. And Govinda Maharaj was very grateful when I engaged him in preaching. He told me, Avadhut Maharaj engaged me in preaching. I said, you're my guru. He said, therefore, I'm so happy that you're giving me that opportunity to be your guru, to speak about these things. Hare Krishna, I'm signing out. My Dandavat Pravat. Very happy to see all of you. It's a great community we're trying to support and maintain from all over the world. And let's meet again. Hare Krishna.